Welcome to Lift this morning. We've just done a little bit of releasing for the front and the back of the legs, so go with what you need to do before you start this workout. Pause the video, do your releasing, and then come back and join us. So we're gonna warm up a little bit of our upper back with the roller. So hopefully you have a roller. And we're gonna start at the mid-back, but we're gonna do a little funky rolling. So we're going to start with a little bit of extension. What I want you to do is to tuck your pelvis under gently, and then just softly start to bend the upper back. Now it might feel very stiff. What I want you to pay attention to is keeping your neck nice and long and not letting it bend backwards, and keeping your low back really secure. So I'm just bending a little bit back and then coming back up. Then you're going to roll onto your right side, whichever side, and then we're just going to bend a few times this way, kind of going into a little side bend. So if you can keep your hands behind your head, that'll really help this. Or if you feel you want to just have one arm down and just do a little bit of rolling. So I'm kind of thinking of my bottom rib cage going down into the gap, and then the bottom rib cage kind of lifting up. And my roller's just rolling up and down from the armpit kind of to the bottom rib. So do that a few times and then come rolling back. Make sure you're still at that roll line. You might need to adjust your bum. Do a little back bend so that already feels better. And then come back, then you're gonna go the other way. So rolling and then side bending. So I'm kind of pushing down into the roller to lift up. So if it's too much with the hands, just have one arm down. So I'm rolling into those intercostals, back to the back, tuck the pelvis, bend. Oh, it feels so much better now. Back to that first side, a few little rolls. So think of kind of a floating mermaid, but I'm also really just moving that roller up and down the ribs. If you need that hand to kind of roll. So you want to really feel bendy in that upper back. Okay, back to your back, tuck the pelvis. Oh, each time it should feel a little bit better. And then over the other way one more time. Up and down, this side's a bit tighter, I can feel. Not as easy. So rolling across those little intercostals, making sure you're not in your armpit. Good, and one last time onto your back. See how that feels. You could also have the legs straight down. Just make sure you connect through your belly and you don't go too far. So see if that feels better for you. Okay, and you're gonna bring your legs back up, and we're just gonna kind of wake up the obliques a little bit. So still supporting your head, I just want you to reach across to your opposite shin. So you're lifting the leg up, reaching across, lower the leg back down. So my opposite hand comes around towards the inner shin. So just doing a little kind of oblique crunch. Now, you might start sliding a little bit on your roller, so just adjust if you need to. So just coming across, stepping down, coming across, and just do a few more of those, just peeling up gently. Try and make sure your head is staying kind of back, but it's not kind of clucking forward. So I'm just rolling across the roller from one shoulder blade to the other. My hoodie's getting caught underneath the roller. Not very good. I'm going to take it off in a minute. So reach, and I'm just kind of pivoting on that one shoulder blade. Now we're going to do a little exercise kind of later on that brings us into these kind of patterns. Okay? And then slowly sit yourself up. And just come to standing. Now, if you've got a full length roller, you can use that here. If you don't have a full length roller, you've got a little halfy roller, then use the chair just for support. Okay? So we're just going to go into our little squatting patterns. Okay, so I'm just going to face sideways. So your chair, your roller, if you need it, you don't have to. So I'd like you to sit into your little squat pattern. And I just want you to not go super far, so just the start of it. And just to kind of pay attention to your transverse wall and your rib cage. And then you're just going to slowly sink the pelvis down a little bit more. Maybe thinking now about the sit bones opening a bit more and your weight through your heels. So we don't want to be forward in the knees, we want to be back. Could the heels reach back a little bit as if they're getting longer? Could the legs rotate a bit more outwards to go a bit deeper? Could you sink the pelvis just that little bit heavier? And then push back up. You may not have got that much farther compared to me, but even if you've got like a few little centimeters more, that's great. So kind of go to your natural squat. Might only be like, 30 degrees down. And then from there, open your sit bones gently. Feed the legs into your hips. Sink your weight back into your heel. Notice if you're forward into your toes and your knees. And feel like there's a big elastic in your hamstrings that you're kind of sitting into. Imagine there's a big band there. Turning the femurs outwards and then coming back up. Good. So just do 2 more. Sinking in, notice space, okay? We want space in the ankles, in the arches of the foot, space in the hip, okay? So we want to make sure we're not bending forward and then we don't actually have space there, okay? So we're sinking the pelvis heavy, reaching the heels back, make sure your tummy's still supporting you, and all the way up. Now when you come up, just make sure you don't go beyond where the pelvis is going forward, that you go into your standing posture. Okay, last one. So just a little bit of your bend, sinking back into the heels, turning the thigh bones outward slightly, sending the heels back, the pelvis heavy. Even if you just go a little centimeter more each little breath. And come all the way back up. Nice one. Ditch your roller. If you've got some little hand weights, I want to go into our little swing squat pattern. So I've got 2 3-kilo weights, but whatever you have at hand, if you've only got 1 weight, then we're going to alternate sides. But if you've got 2 weights that you can hold that are even weight, then that's great, okay? So we're going to try and go into that swing squat. We're trying to go into that squat with a little swing of the arms. Now, when you swing your arms, I want you to float your arms a little bit up. So if you drop them down and you start swinging, you're probably not going to have core control. So they're a little bit elevated and wide on your back, okay? So for some of you, it might feel like you're holding your arms up a little bit, but if I drop my shoulders down, look where they go, okay? They go kind of forward. So I want to have the arm bone really in line with my hip, okay? So that top of the shoulder is in line with the hip. Now, if I start swinging the arms away, okay, and if you've got 1, that's fine. Okay, so as the weights go back, that's my dropping phase. Okay, so I sink down, and actually I'm letting the push through the legs bring the arm up. Now, if you're doing 1, you just swap. Okay, so swing, squat, and 3, 2, 1. Now it's much harder when you go kind of fast time, right? And we kind of start going into our old habits and we go kind of knees forward or bending. So just try and kind of get that picture in your head of those slow squats, okay? So that's going to be our exercise 1. We're going to come down onto all 4s. Before we add the weight, I want you to get that nice lengthened position. Hands nice and spread out. And we're just going to do a 1-arm row. Okay? So without the weight first, settle your shoulder blades on your back. Let the hips almost drop in front. So the front of the hip kind of drops. Then I hug my belly up, hug my ribs and lengthen out. Okay, so the back of the shoulders are really holding my weight. So I'm gonna put the weight into the right arm, push down, glide the shoulder blade around the rib, and I wanna rotate this upper arm to bring the arm kind of to my side. So the chest is opening through the front to turn to the side I'm pulling up. Inhale to come down. Now press through the left, glide around your shoulder blade, and then open the chest on that other side, and then come back down. So what might be helpful is when you go to the right side, is to put your hand by your collarbone and open that up, because that's kind of where we want to open from, right? As opposed to the elbow. So I'm putting my hand on my collarbone and I'm opening that up. So now I can feel rotation. And then left arm, hand to the collarbone, open that up. Yeah, so you keep doing that. So I'm doing here, and I'm just pulling that around. Okay, so I can really feel trunk rotation, come back to center, pull that around. Yeah, okay, so you've got to make sure the shoulder isn't too low as you turn. It's kind of got to go high in turn to really get that rotation. Okay, take a little breather off your wrists. Okay, so now do that with the weight. So you can go a little bit heavier with this if you've got it. Okay, if you've got like a kettlebell, you can hold it kind of like that. Okay, you're not going to go as far off the floor. Okay, so we take our weight, and we're going to do one side. You can alternate if it's too much for your wrists. Okay, so we're going to come up, think of opening the collarbones, pushing into that arm that's on the floor. Inhale down. Exhale, up. And we're going to have this as version 1 for the first set. So this is kind of our warm-up set. So have that shoulder a little bit elevated. Okay, so it kind of comes up as it rotates. So really feeling the obliques. Okay, one more. And then back. So I can really feel my core kind of wrapping me around. If you needed to alternate sides, just keep alternating sides. Just pass the weight through and go to the other side. So nice lengthened position. Make sure you're not starting here in a rounded position. Slightly extended, okay? Here we go. Open the collarbone to bring that weight up. So using that breath out to push down into the floor and to feel that shoulder blade of your supporting arm really wrapping around, okay? 2 more. 1 more. And release. So ideally, kind of the swing squat weight might be an appropriate weight here, but if it's too light, like a 2 kilo or something like that, then you might want to go a little bit heavier. Okay, our third exercise, we're going to do it without weight first, and then we're going to have the option of the weight. It's a Turkish get up. So we're going to have the right knee bent, the right arm up, the other arm out to the side. So think of your Pilates roll-ups, okay? You're going to roll a little bit over to your flat arm, and then you're going to sit yourself up. Now, once you get here, you've got to get this foot to really feel like you can push your hips up. Okay, it's like a little bridge. And then you roll back down. Okay, so I roll over to my left arm, sit up as tall as I can with that arm by the ear. Okay, if you're a little bit tight in the shoulder, I wouldn't add the weight with this. I would just keep trying to reach that arm. I kind of move my arm back a little bit here, so I can push into the foot, into the hand, and come up. Okay, now if that's too much, you just go to here, roll back down. Okay, roll over to the side, come up, push through the foot and the hand, lift your bottom, come down, roll back down. Okay, so let's check the other side. So left leg bent. I've got all my stuff in the way now. Okay? So I've got my left leg up, left arm up, right arm out to the side. So now you can see it maybe a little bit more. I'm rolling onto kind of my elbow here, and then coming up, and I adjust my hand and my foot so I feel like I've got the support there, and lift into that little bridge. Okay, so if that's too much for the hand, you could try it here, but it's a lot for the shoulder. Okay, so you just go to there and then practice the roll down. So rolling onto that right elbow and trying to make it a bit smoother than I just did. Option for that. Down, rolling around. So it's not just kind of hoiking yourself up this way. It's kind of using that pelvis to roll onto your side and up and lift. Now, I can never get it the right angle, but in the proper way, you're not supposed to move your hand from where it is here, but I always feel like I never have it in the right place, so I'm allowing you to move. Okay? So those are our three. Our swing squats, our one arm row plank, and then our little Turkish get up. Now, the option for the one arm row plank is we can go into a longer plank position and challenge it a little bit more core. So you can either do it here, as we were doing in the warm up, or you can do it a little bit further out. All right? Here we go. Get some water. Set the timer. So get your double weights or your single weights if you're using those. And we're going to go 40 seconds of work. 20 seconds rest. Here we go. Swing squats. Now, if you're really not getting the swing squats, you're going into bad habits, then I want you to do a slow squat and come back up. So a nice slow squat and come back up. But if you're with me, we go down, down, push up, or single arm. Alternating sides. Coming up to that standing posture. Check out that your weight is in your heels, 2, 1, and then release. Okay? Coming down onto your mat with your weight. And we have the box position, or you're further forward. Now you can alternate, or you can stay on one side for the 40, and then the second set, we change arms. Okay? Here we go. So rotate. So in my longer plank, I'm actually gonna switch sides because it's a little bit harder. And if you're in the longer plank, you need a little bit more 12. Okay, so we don't want to be out here. So 12 with the pelvis as you change the arms. Now you don't have to do the weight. If you're doing a longer plank, you might just be challenged without the weight. If you're in the box, make sure it's the collarbones opening. Okay? One more. And then release into the Turkish get up. So we're going to do one side. I'm going to do this way so I can see my timer. So let's go. We started with the right arm up, right leg. Here we go. We roll onto the left, come up into the bridge. If you're doing that version, roll back onto your elbow, roll onto your back. Now you could have a weight in hand if you wanted to, but I like it just without for now while you're getting the pattern. Roll and up, bridge if you're going there. So just try and find where your arm needs to be able to roll up comfortably. Even that might be a challenge, kind of rolling up and rolling down. Last one, even just getting to there might be a challenge for you. Yeah, getting to there, the next one. And roll down. Okay, take a little moment. And then we'll come back up to the top. So remember we did right arm there. And if you did one arm with the one arm row, okay. Swing squats or your slow squats. Take a nice breath in and off we go. So nice shins down, knees down. That's it. One arm if you've got just the one arm weight. Alternating sides. Sink into those hips. Oh, oh, this feels like a longer set. A few more. And 2, and 1, and release. Good stuff, guys. Back to the floor. So the other arm, if you just did one arm, alternating if you were alternating, long plank, if you're doing that one. Okay, get yourself in position. If you're here, nice lengthened position, no hunchy shoulders. So let those shoulders settle on your back, okay? You're always going to be slightly extended and then connect the pelvis. Here we go. So taking your time if you're alternating to feel the shoulder blades rotating on your back. Okay, in that box shape, keep thinking about that collarbone pulling the weight. So not your elbow, but really moving it from here. 10 seconds. 2 more. And 1. And release. Good, into your Turkish. So we've got the left arm up, left leg. Take a little moment, feel where this right arm needs to be to roll up nice and smoothly. You can hold your weight in hand, but only if you've got good range of movement through your shoulder. Okay, if you don't, just have no weight. Here we go, rolling over. I know this side is going to be harder for me. Bridge if you can. Roll back down onto your back. Roll over to the side, onto the arm, onto the hand, hand and foot press. Back down, slide it down. Roll over. Think of all your little roll-ups in your Pilates. Roll along nice and smooth. I don't want to see you kind of plunk down onto the mat. I want to see a nice smooth position. Oh, last one. Roll. Hopefully it's getting smoother, not more jagged. Ah. And then just do a little side to side. And then you're going to roll onto your side and stand yourself up. Nice one. So take a sip of water. We're going to do a little intermission. So we're going to do like a little scissor hop. Okay, you can do the low impact version or the high impact version. Okay, so we start with one leg in front and the opposite arm in front. Okay, so just kind of get your position there. And then switch, hitch. Just do that nice and slow. Just kind of feel your position. So you've got the one leg forward. I've got both knees slightly bent, both arms slightly bent. So I'm kind of turning the trunk. So step, turn, step, turn. Right? That's it in slow motion. Okay? So we're going to go hop, hop, or hop, hop. So step, nice and sharp, switching from one to the other. There might be a little hop, or you're going to land, soft landing on those knees. Make sure you're happy for yourself. Hop, nice strong tummy. So you kind of decelerate, ha, ha. Few more. 3, 2, 1, and then release. Okay, so watch that kind of the back leg doesn't get kind of too dancey, that it's really almost more about the rotation than the step. Okay, so less of a dancey step, which I'm seeing some of you do. Okay, the second is a little kind of step, touch the floor. Okay, so make sure you have enough room that you're not going to hit anything. Okay, so I'm going to start on one side of the room. I'm going to go step together, step, touch down, step together, step, touch down. So I always touch the opposite hand down to my leg that I'm leaning on. So step together, step, touch, step together, step, touch. So those that want to have a little hop in the middle. So step together, touch, step together, touch. Cracky, cracky. And you don't actually have to go all the way down to the floor. You could just bend to your knee. Okay? Da, da, da. Da. Say, I don't have to be high impact to feel that. Still getting my heart rate going. A few more. 3, 2, 1. It's what you make of it, right? You can still be safe through your knees and still get that heart rate going. Okay, we're going to repeat that again. The scissor hops, and then our little step together, step touch. Okay? So pick your little start position, opposite hand to leg. Just get the rhythm. So we hit it, we hit it. So that, remember our kind of sharp positions from the other day, where we kind of went floaty and then went a little bit strong. It's almost like you're punching the arms up here. So it's either a little step, or that little hop. A few more. Breathe. 2, and 1. Okay. Step together, step touch. Start at one side of your room. Step together, step, touch. Step together, step, touch. Wherever you need to do. Don't hurt your back. Trying to bend to the floor. Okay? Make it a little bit more energetic. Yeah, maybe stay low to the ground. Those that are coming into a little hop. Make sure you're happy for your knees. Make the arms really strong if you're doing in the low impact. 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. We got the heart rate up. We might need a chair for this. Get your breath back. A chair, or if you've got like a low coffee table, that might be better, because sometimes the chair is like a little bit too high. Or you're gonna go right down to the floor. Now you're gonna take a couple of options. Just a pillow, okay? So a cushion on your chair or your couch, just a pillow to hold. I've got like those little bolsters. That's option 1. Option 2 is your little hand weight, okay, that you can hold in your hand like this. I'm gonna choose a medicine ball just because I have it, but I don't know if anyone does have that at home right now. But a medicine ball works quite nice because it is a ball, okay? So what we're gonna do is tap down. We'll do this to dumbbell because I think most people have that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna squat down to bring our weight to the chair or to our coffee table, or potentially we can get down into these deep squats. Now I can't get down very deep today. My hips are feeling quite tight, so I don't want to be stressing down there. So I'm going to opt, just because I don't have anything lower than this, I'm going to opt for my chair. But I'm going to bring the weight into the chest, step back one leg, and reach up, lengthening the front of the body. Okay, so it's like a standing swan slightly, but I want you guys to feel the stretch through the front of the hip. Okay, so arms go up. So I'm tilting the pelvis slightly, 12, really lifting the belly, and then come back in, and then come back to that squat, and then you step the other leg back. So actually, even with a cushion, yeah, just doing that action is a really nice exercise. So just having a light weight. Again, what I would say is if you don't have range of movement, keep doing that a few more times. If you don't have full range of movement here, don't use the weight, okay? Use the lighter pillow and get that range of movement through your arms with the tilt of the pelvis, okay? So just do one more. Reach, squat, and reach. It's quite a nice kind of hip opener. All right? Number 2 is our kneeling plank. Okay? So we're going to come down into our 45-degree angle here. We're going to tilt the pelvis 12. Hug the ribs up. Now, some people kind of say they don't feel this. When you tilt the pelvis up, you also have to retract the belly. So it's position and also connection. So also make sure you're not just clenching down your bum, okay? So it's the front of the pelvis, but you've got to retract the belly. Then the rib cage slightly retracts, so you connect here. Then the shoulder blades slightly retract without you losing your lower in your rib cage, and then the spine lengthens. Okay, so that might be enough for you just getting into position. We don't want to be hunched here through the thoracic. We want to be really extended, okay? So keep going, 12, rib cage, shoulders, long body. Okay, and you should feel your core is on very nicely here and really working. If you're really solid and you're really good, you're going to slowly press down into one leg and very gently lift the other leg with minimal movement of the pelvis. Now, even just doing that, my pelvis popped out and my body really leaned to the side. So that should feel really, really hard, okay? Come back, have a little breather. So that's kind of just a more of a really holding isometric contraction, okay? And then we're going to do a little bit of a bridge. Now we kind of did the bridge in the Turkish get up, but we're going to try and do this with your feet on the chair. Okay, so we have our chair. You might need to move it potentially. You might also want to think of having it against a wall or having it against your couch or using your couch. You could use the cushions of your couch, or if you've got like a single chair that's not going to move, that's a little bit better, okay? So this is going to be a more challenging bridge than normal. Arms down by your side. You're going to press down into your chair, your couch, whatever you're using, and slowly back down, okay? Now, if that's too much for you, you're feeling a little bit necky, then just have your feet on the floor. But I want you to try and go straight up into your bridge. So if you're doing it on the floor, I really want you to focus here on getting the hip extension, the back of the legs connecting, and not going too high in your low back, okay? And then you're just going to lower straight back down. So no articulation like your Pilates bridges, okay? This is almost more like a hip exercise than a spine exercise, okay? So I'm pressing down. There's always a little bit of 12, because if I don't do 12, then I come up from my back and not from my butt. So that's hard. Yeah, I don't have to do many of those, and my chair keeps sliding away. You know, just kind of navigate how your feet are. I've just kind of put it onto my heels, but that really fires up my hamstrings quite a lot, which isn't a bad thing, but I want to make sure I get my glutes. Okay? Woo! So those are your three. The pick up, step back, the plank, and then your bridge. I'm going to just do it this way so I can see my camera. Okay? So pick your pillow, your weight, whatever you're using there. Okay? You guys ready? So your pillow, your cushion, find where you're going to squat down to, your coffee table, your chair, or to the floor. Okay? You're going to squat down, step back, reach up, tilt the pelvis. Squat down, step back, tilt the pelvis, reach. And woo, try not to go into your low back. Okay, so if you find you're kind of bending backwards, you need a little bit more 12 and a little bit more lift. And down, even without the weight. It's kind of our exercise we did in the last 2 weeks, our little warrior kind of stretch. Woo! My one side is very out of balance. Up. Let's do one more. And release. Okay, come on down to your kneeling plank. So elbows on the floor, right underneath your shoulders. Tilt your pelvis 12. That might round the shoulders, so don't do too much. Retract the belly, retract the ribs, shoulder blades, lengthen. So just holding there. Now if you don't feel your belly, then check your pelvis. Does it need to go more 12? Do you need to just hug the belly up a little bit? Is it just hanging in space? So you kind of got to take the tissue of your belly and kind of suck it up and lift it like you've got Spanx on. Lengthen through your upper back, soften into your shoulders. I know it's hard. There's going to be a lot of work in the shoulders and the core. A few more seconds. And then release. Oh, it feels like enough. You get it right, and it can be such a little fine-tuned change, and brilliant. Yeah, you can really feel it. So if it's too easy, it's all about positioning. Okay, it's your positioning isn't right, or you're not connecting up through those muscles. Okay, let's get into our bridge on your couch, or your chair, or the floor if it was too much. So slowly up, focus on the hips, deep abdominals on, slowly down. So taking those thighs out, pushing through the bum. My chair's quite high, so you might not be as high as this. I'm really working through those back of the legs now. Woo! Take care of your back, okay? Make sure that the emphasis is really coming, not from clenching the bum, but from the back of the legs pushing the front of the legs forward. Oh, that's enough for me. Little rocky doodle. Awesome, awesome. Where are we? Okay. So come back up. I know we did kind of a warm-up set, so let's do our last set here. So we're kind of essentially doing 3, but we do a proper set this time, not that you didn't do proper. Okay, so last round of these, weight and step back, plank, and then we'll do our last little bit of cardio. Okay, hopefully we're feeling okay. Give a deep breath, here we go. Squat, step back, reach. Squat, step back, reach. If you are going to the floor, just make sure you are sinking into the hips. See, I feel like that's enough for me today. Just keep checking your low back isn't taking over. You've got that tilt of the pelvis. Or even if you're just reaching your arms. Even without the weight. Oh, it feels so nice to do that hip stretch in between. It's like, ah, and then, ah, one more. Nice. Okay, guys, come back down. Lovely stuff. If you felt pretty good in that plank the last time, try and do those little knee raises. If you're still kind of finding the position, then just stick with that, okay? Don't progress too fast, too soon. Be patient with yourself, okay? These things take time. So 12, hug the ribs, shoulder blades. But when the shoulder blades come back, you don't want to then drop that back out again. So that's the challenge. Lengthening. 12, have you lost your belly? What about those ribs? Shoulders, head lengthened. If you can, lift that leg, but I want no movement in that pelvis at all. So if you feel your tail popping up, or your pelvis shifting, or you lose your belly, then you don't need to do that one, okay? You really have to work hard. 3, 2, 1. Ah. And release. If you're doing this bridge on the floor, if you've opted out of doing it on the chair, that's totally cool. But I want you guys to challenge it with a little bit of a single leg. Okay, so if you're doing it from the mat, I want you to press one leg at a time and come up that way, okay? If you're still with me on the chair, I think this is hard enough as it is. If it's not hard enough, then you're a superstar. Check in how you're coming up though, okay? That you're lengthening through the hips, bending the hips. Exhale. So open the front of the hip and flex. So just think the angle between your thigh and your pelvis opens flat up, and then it bends to kind of 90 degrees here. And then it opens, I don't know, protractors, 180, and then goes back to 90. Oh my gosh, my butt. One more. Oh, so hard. And then hug the knees in. Ah. Okay, so those hamstrings are worked, our quads are worked, everything's working. Do you remember, I think we did it last week, our little boxing sequence. So I know some of you have never boxed, never thought about boxing. Maybe you might be thinking of a certain person you'd like to box. I know a few people in my mind right now, including the government. So have a little think about who you want to kind of punch in the face and maybe give a little crotch punch to. Okay? So we're going to put our fists up to protect our face. We're going to have the one leg forward, and we're just going to do a few little jabs. So we come across as if we're punching someone's chin. And notice how I'm rotating my upper back as I punch. Okay, now I know I'm doing it slow motion. Okay, the knees are nice and soft, but I'm so basically without the punch, I'm doing that. Okay, so some of you just maybe do a bit of that, and then you release the punch from there. Okay, so see if you can pick it up and really work into your core. So you don't want it to like too dancey, right? You want to hit, 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 hit. So we're gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, kick, kick. So that back leg comes up. Yeah? Don't let it go too high, think bowls, okay? Right? So just a little kick back, kick back. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Kick, step, kick, step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Kick, kick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Try not to move your hips like I am. So solid pelvis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Kick, kick. One more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ha, ha. Yeah, I like what some of you are doing. You're almost doing like a knee jab in. So you can either do knee or foot. Okay, other leg. So it's what you make of it, right? If you just go, it's not going to feel like anything. So start with just rotating. So other leg in front, just rotating your trunk. Then hands up to the chin. Okay, start nice and slow. So feel as you rotate, that arm is extending, but it never overreaches. It's like hit, come back, hit, hit. So pick up the pace. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Kick, kick. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's either a kind of knee jab or that kick with the whole foot. Ha, ha, whatever feels better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can actually think of knocking them in the head. Ha! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's my negativity is coming back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ha! Ha! One more. 5, 6, 7, 8. Ah, that feels good. Hopefully you were thinking of someone. Maybe not. Yeah? We don't have to think of anyone that we're punching. Take a nice breath in. And breath out. Step back one leg, tilt the pelvis up. And then circle around, reach the heel back in a nice little calf stretch. Straighten the front leg. Get a little hamstring stretch. Come back up. Step back the other leg, tilt the pelvis up. Take the heel back at the calf. Reaching that back leg. Take the front leg nice and straight. Feel those hamstrings. And then back up and step together. And one last nice breath in. If you feel like you want to just do a little kind of side to side or a little reach, that's great. And thank you very much for joining us.